Hello everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz. This is the June 22nd edition of the weekly Search Buzz video recap. To win this week, all you need to do is actually listen to a question that I'll be asking later on in this broadcast, and if you answer that question right by posting a comment at seroundtable.com on this video recap, you will then have the chance to win. I'm letting you know that 3 people are going to have a chance to win, not just one, so it'll be 3 people who have a chance to win. I will be announcing the winner of last week's special Father's Day edition swag award at the end of this broadcast. And so like I just said, last Sunday was Father's Day. I wanted to wish everybody a happy Father's Day if you didn't listen to last week's video recap. But the search engines definitely had some great logos up, and I'm looking at them right now. Google had father-daughter or father-son flying a kite with grass. It's very neat. Yahoo had a animated Flash logo with Father's Day types of toys, remote controls, fishing rod, golf club, and a necktie. Dogpile had a dog with a necktie on it, and Ask.com had neckties. Funny, that's the theme this year. Create a Site had father and child saying Happy Father's Day, and we had a very cute theme where we had prehistoric cartoon characters, father-son combination, the father patting the head, little dad, and stone behind it with little dinosaur. So that was Father's Day. I hope you enjoyed, and check out those logos. They're pretty creative and pretty nice. So Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Google held their second ever Google Webmaster chat session where they had tons of Googlers from the spam team, search quality team, from Webmaster Central, from Sitemaps, and from other teams participate and help answer questions and give presentations to webmasters on how they can improve their sites and any questions they might have in terms of SEO or accessibility in terms of spidering their site. So Google had about an hour, I think it was 78-minute presentation, which I recorded in its entirety using this microphone. And I posted it at SE Roundtable on Thursday night about 7 p.m. So you can actually listen to the whole thing if you missed it. Also, I posted the entire Q&A recap. There's I think over 300 questions and answers from webmasters asking questions and Googlers actually responding to them in almost real time. So I posted over 300 of those questions, as much as I can that fit in the actual template, as well as I posted a text file which has the complete Q&A. In addition, Googler John Muller actually went ahead and posted the unanswered questions in Google Groups. So I have a link to the unanswered questions which Google did not have time to actually cover. So this second event was, I have to say, actually better. They had a lot of presentations, but the real key of the discussion, I think, was from the Q&A. So in terms of how you're going to actually win today's this week's contest and to win swag from, I guess Google is fitting, so win swag from Google, what we have to do is actually post in this video recap what you think is the most important question answer from the whole entire question answer list. And if I agree with you, 3 of you will actually get some swag from Google. This past Wednesday night, Google AdWords finally launched their page load time factor for the quality scores. So in the past, we told you that Google will be introducing a new factor to the quality score, which determines how well you rank for your AdWords ads, as well as determines how much you're paying as your minimum bid. So Google warned us that it's coming, and now it's here. So if your landing pages load slowly, Google may increase your minimum bid and decrease your quality score and rank. So you want to go ahead and take a look at that. That went live as of June 18th in the evening sometime. I haven't seen any complaints from any webmasters as of today in terms of advertisers complaining that their quality score has been downgraded because of their page loading time factor. So I assume you have to have a really slow loading page load time for it to actually impact you. 2 interesting posts this week. One is that Google again has defended the theory that bad links can hurt you. They defended saying bad links cannot hurt you. We posted about this twice this past week, one on June 18th and one on June 20th. The one on June 18th talked about how John Muller over at Google said it's basically almost impossible that a competitor can hurt you with links, i.e. Google bowling. And on June 20th, we talked about Google Bowling and how to defend yourself against Google Bowling. And the premise is that as long as you have a good, strong, diverse set of quality links and from quality sites, your site will be immune to Google Bowling, i.e., competitors throwing bad links to your site. Also, was interesting was that Matt Cutts went ahead and twittered saying, I forgot exact words he said, but basically, if you're going to go ahead and do a re-inclusion or reconsideration request, do not lie in that request. If you do, it makes him angry, and if he's angry, he might hit that delete button. If Google cannot access your robots.txt file, not meaning, not if you don't have a robots.txt file, but it can access to see if you have one or not. So if you serve up a 404 page, and that's fine, Google will still crawl your site. But if Google tries to access your robot.txt file several times and it cannot access it at all, meaning it times out the page or no server response comes back, or you're doing some crazy 301 redirects and it just can't reach to see if there's a robots.txt file or not, Google may not actually crawl your entire site and may actually delist your entire site. So you want to make sure that your robots.txt file is actually serving up the correct server status code, either if you don't have one, a 404 page, or if you do have one, obviously a 200 OK. Otherwise, it might cause some major issues with Google crawling your site. Obviously, this makes sense because if Google can't access your site, your robots.txt file, then and for some reason you have it as excluding certain files, then obviously you don't want Google to assume that you want Google to crawl your site, unless you don't have one at all, and then Google will make that assumption. This week, the hot topic was Google Sitemaps. Are they important? Are they necessary? Do they help you with SEO, etc.? We have posts from several blogs out in the blogosphere after I covered the thread over at Google Groups. Basically, John Miller went ahead and said, a Googler said, here are the pros of using actual sitemaps, and there are definitely pros to using it, he said, and he knows because he's part of the Sitemaps team. He said, 1, it helps with canonical URLs. 2, if you use the last modification date, it helps Google quickly locate any actual changes as opposed to guessing on what changes have been made, so that's good for a very large site. And 3, the same type of thing is you could actually say the priority, which changes the frequency and the change frequency, to actually say, these are the priority, the most important pages on my site, and this is how often they change, and you should go ahead and make sure to take a look at them more often than not. So basically, John's takeaways from Google was, yes, send us your sitemaps, preferably in XML format. 2, work on good URLs and use them to double check your site's navigation. 3, it's optional, use the date or change frequency. And finally, also try to use the optional priority tag, because that might help as well. And across the blogosphere, a lot of people are saying, no, you don't need it. If you have good site architecture, you don't need it. I believe if you have good site architecture, you probably don't need it as well. But obviously, I think there are some pros to using it. I wouldn't go crazy over it, but I would definitely use it if you have the time to actually program something like that. And obviously, you could automate it and make it very useful. Quickly, Google's AdSense is testing new fonts again. Obviously, Comic Sans has been spotted again. Danny Sullivan actually started his own site. I made a post about it of the other fonts they actually saw. So if you have AdSense, make sure to check it out. Okay, so now it's time to pick the winners of the Father's Day swag event. Here we go. Pulling out of the cup. Here's a name. The winner is Peter McDonald. Congratulations, Peter McDonald. We will send you the gift, and happy Father's Day. Thank you for listening to the June 22nd edition of the Search Buzz Video Recap. My name is Barry Schwartz. Make sure to check out seroundtable.com. And everyone have a great weekend.